What's up, y'all? We are back in the shop working on old Hank. Here, gonna do a little transmission R&R. Before we get rolling today's video, gotta let you guys know, end of the giveaway is right around the corner, so you guys need to go to lsnasty.com. Any merchandise you order, you get entered to win our 1200 horsepower Trans Am. Today, it is 20 times entries. Yes, 20 times. So you spend $1, you get 20 entries. And then we got this shirt right here, which will get you 1,000 entries. This is our brand new limited edition American flag nasty racing shirt. This guy right here will only be available until the end of the giveaway and then never be produced ever again. So you only got a couple days to get this shirt and then it's gone forever. 4th of July coming up. You gotta be looking right. Badass shirt. Gotta love America, hell yeah, get it. And you can win a Trans Am off of it. So that's all the information you need to know. If you don't go to lsnasty.com, it's the first link in the description below. I don't know what to tell you. You guys cannot win it unless you're entered. And it's a car, hey, listen, you can break transmission in that thing and work on it just like we're gonna work on this thing today. All right, guys, we're starting the year off big. 1,200 horsepower. 1,200 horsepower turbo Trans Am, 91mm turbo, 388 cubic inch LS on Holley EFI, built 400, built rear end, Viking suspension. This thing is a true muffin cap peeler. This is not like one of the most enjoyable things to do, for me at least. So I'm going to, I've been putting it off all day, finding any other work possible to do other than this, but we've come to that point in the day where we have to work on this. Very easy car to work on, so it's not terrible. We got Power Glide here, 180 gear set. If you guys saw the last video when we were in Darlington, it lost first gear. Pretty much first gear is like it's a band, sometimes it's like Kevlar. Depends on, they make a bunch of different style bands. And then you have a drum that spins when it grabs the drum, that's first gear. So if you can imagine, you know, get some wear on it, the grab is less, it overcomes the friction and spins. That's not what happened in this case. Usually after you make like 60, 70, 80 passes on a Power Glide, you have to do a band adjustment. Which is pretty common, and you'll notice some cars that they're getting close to needing a band adjustment. When they grab the trans brake, it will rock backwards. That's like a telltale sign of, hey, you need to tighten up the band. This thing here, 20 passes on it maybe, no signs of needing a band adjustment. All of a sudden, the band just let go, and once it's gone, it's gone. Like once you spin it, it's not coming back. So you have to take it out. It could be something as simple as just putting a new band in it and like resurfacing the drum, or it could tear some other shit up. We don't know until we get it out. But luckily our good buddy Logan got one for his car. So this is a pretty much identical dealio to what's in there. Aftermarket case. I'm hoping that one's a roller tail shaft. This is something that you do need to pay attention to. Is it a roller? It doesn't look like a roller on first look. No, his is not a roller tail shaft. His is a bushing. So we might be changing the tail shaft out because that's not a good sign. He said it was a roller. We don't know what else is inside this thing, so that thing will tell us. I can assure you that. One thing you do look at is the pump. Everything's turbo spline. If you don't have a turbo spline,
terrible cameraman mistake.
If you don't have a turbo spline Power Glide, not really sure what to tell you because no one's making Power Glide splined. I mean, that's just very small little brake. This is a ringless input. As you can tell, there's not like a cut in here with a little ring, so that's a good sign. But that's really all you can tell. What's inside here is what the transmission builder did, and the car will tell you if he did it right or not. As you can see, there's no fittings in here, so we'll take the fittings out of the other transmission, put them in here, and we'll put the vent in here as well. And more than likely, we'll swap the tail shaft. It's very important to look at the tail shaft. They make a roller bearing or a brass bearing. Your yoke is specific to that. So if you have a roller bearing yoke, don't put it in a transmission with a brass bushing tail shaft. If you have a yoke for a brass bushing, don't put it in a roller bearing tail shaft. You think it's pretty self-explanatory, but it happens often. This isn't a big deal. Just unbolt here, stick or rip it out, and then you're good to go. We're gonna wire up the trans brake, and then everything else should bolt in. There's one modification that we are going to have to do to the bell housing. The way the shift linkage is set up on that, it's drilled and tapped right here, and it attaches on this first bolt hole on the pan rail. And this, oh, we're screwed. We are screwed. This ain't gonna work with my shifter, my bracket. This, whoever welded this onto here, you can go straight to hell. It's not a major issue. If you look at here, I got like the adjustable one. Oh, it's kind of close, but the throw is going to be off. So this is like this bracket here is a lot of science in there. If you don't put it in the exact right hole, it won't go fully into gear in like high. You set it in high gear and then you run through all of them, and you want to make sure there's no like, it's not in a bind, because then it kind of gets stuck in between gears, or it's like leaning on another one. I could tell you right now, this and this bracket are a lot of trial and error. But if you look up here, this is bolted on, right? So you can take this off and put it on whatever transmission. Who on earth welded this on here? See, this hole is way too large for my shift linkage, and that bracket goes with the shift linkage. So I don't feel like messing with this right now. So let's just go to the car with one, or let's go to the track with one car tonight instead of two. But it was a valiant effort. Good thing I looked it over before I got everything.
Good thing there's some other stuff left to do on the other car, so we can do that.
Yeah, we can work on the other car. Yeah. Could I make this work? Yeah, potentially, but why would I do that to make one race when next week I'm going to get that transmission freshened up and then have to redo everything?
Yep.
So this is called working smarter, not harder. Thanks, Logan, for letting us borrow the transmission.
Good
Probably set yours up the first time to work with this bracket here that's welded on. I've never in my life seen this. This is some bullshit.
Now Logan gets to test his own transmission.
Yeah,
We're not going to test it for him.
And I see it was a lose-lose for me, because you put this transmission in the car. I got there. I'm going to break it, and now not only do I have to fix one transmission, I have to fix Logan's as well. So we got the silver Mustang over there, which is on the battery charger. We're just going to mess with that. I was ready to pull this transmission out and go to the track, but it just wasn't meant to be. We'll pull this transmission out, and we will just take it up to Wickers to get fixed, and we'll just mess with the silver car for now. So this thing fires up with the lamp cam. It sounds awesome. We would be ready to load it in the trailer right now, but while I was working on that, putting the parachute mount on, this was getting all put back together, and something was forgotten. This is the keyway for the mandrel, which is very important, because if the mandrel stops spinning, the fuel stops. We gotta stick this, we gotta take the mandrel apart, slide this in, then slide all of the spacers and the gear and the retainers and everything back over this and bolt it up. Not really a big deal, but just slight little inconvenience. There's a lot of stuff in the way now where there wasn't in the way before, but I think we can do it. No, it needs like a long ratcheting. Hey, this box, third drawer down, they'll be in like pouches. All right, we're just dropping lots of tech on you today. Most all of these mandrels have a bolt that goes in the front, and then the mandrel, just like without any of the BS on it, looks like a little tube coming out, and it's got a keyway in it. So when you put all this stuff on, almost every single mandrel, the front of it has a hex, and then the bolt goes through it. Don't ever try to turn the motor over with this bolt, because all this does is go into the aluminum drive, essentially. The mandrel, that's all, it just goes in. Try to turn this, you're literally trying to turn the whole motor over just on these little threads that are in the aluminum mandrel.
That seems like a terrible idea to me.
I've seen it happen live, when you're like, I'm gonna turn the motor over, and then you're like, oh, this motor's really loose, and now you have a mandrel that doesn't work. So don't do that. Always use this guy, because it goes off the keyway. When this got put back together, the keyway was not keywaying.
It's still on the table.
So you're done. So we're just gonna pop the stuff off, throw the keyway in there, and we should be good to go.
Look those comments.
Tell him.
Oh yeah?
Tell him.
Oh, he's about to get in them comments. Keyway was a little bit bent, so we're straightening it out. Vice works miracles, don't it?
Looks good.
Good and straight.
A little bit this way. It's got a little bend to her. Oh. Hell yeah. Why are you looking at me like that?
So, what's going on?
Alright, we fixed it. You guys want to hear this thing? First time you guys, I don't think you guys have heard it yet with the lamb cam. Super weird. It's got some oiling issue. Like, I don't know if it's just feeding it too much oil. It needs a restrictor, but with how high the turbo is, it should not have any drain back issues. And like, there was oil in the intake, the charge pipe. There's oil in the front cover. We cleaned all that stuff out before we put it back on, and like immediately there's oil in the damn exhaust. So I don't know what it is, but here, you want to hop in here and fire it up? I think we got the idle right. We got it to when you pull it in gear, it's at 1100 RPMs. I like 1100, 1200 RPMs when you pull it in gear, so it's good there. And idle's good. Let it warm up. It gets on the chip really good, so we'll fire it up, get some heat in it. We'll pull the log out. We'll look at it because I know we were messing around with the log trying to get it to spool. It doesn't need any of that now. That's got the lamb cam in there, and it's got everything right. The oil pump is right. The cam timing is right. Everything's good. So we'll fire it up, just let it idle for a little bit, rev it a little bit, pull the tune out, reset everything so it just builds boost without any help, without any time and retard, without any like steps in it, and then we'll put it on the chip and see how it sounds. Methanol 380-inch LS, stock rocker arms. I think it's got like a stock style lifter, trick flow head. Very, very, very basic entry level methanol setup. That cam works really good NA, works good on E85, works good on methanol. That's a single 88 on there. Just like the black sheep cam. It's really good. It's crazy how much that fixed it. Because before, like when you revved it, it was lazy and it just sounded like it was like underwater. So it's very crisp, very good, and we didn't even get to messing with the tune-up on there. It's got like a really 100% fresh tune-up. So I mean, I'm good with it. I mean, it's a good start, you know, we're heading in the right direction. So let me get my laptop, we'll pull the tune out, I'll zero out everything on the launch, and then, did you look at the AFR, what it was idling at?
Like 4.5.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. If you're idling at like, it really depends on the car. Slick Rick likes idling at like 4.3, which is a little bit leaner than the Black Sheep, likes 4.0 on the dot, as soon as you get away from there. But really it just depends on the setup, depends on the placement of your O2 sensor. I don't really like that placement of that O2 sensor. They want them at 11 o'clock, that's like directly at 12 o'clock, and it's very, very close to the exhaust, where I'd like to have it down somewhere like right here, I think would be a really good spot for it, or somewhere like right here on that side would be a really good spot for it. But right there, you're cooking that son of a gun. So. It sounds way better. The neighbor's first introduction to two-step check.
Luckily it's early, it's not midnight.
Damn, we get some black 17-inch wheels for that thing, it'll actually look good.
Yo, take Hank.
Okay, so get in there with this Saving Private Ryan haircut. All right. I think that converter's very tight. I'm gonna pull some timing out down low.
I like that. That's it.
Is that better?
I think so.
I just slightly pull out timing, but it should make 8, like that's for 8 pounds.
Yeah.
It gets on the chip way better.
Yeah, it
like
does.
Way better.
It does. Sounds good.
Yeah, that makes me feel good because I felt like I have no business in advanced tables, but you know, sorry. I literally just pull out some timing until you get to where you want to make boost, and then just shove it all back in, and that's usually where it stays. But you got to remember to change that when you change your boost. Like if you want to leave on 10 pounds, you got to change your advanced table with it. So, but that's a really small turbo, and it should spool quick. I think that converter is also very tight, so I think we could probably put a bigger turbo on it, and it would spool just as quick, which I think is good. It's a good day when we take something apart, we put it back together, and we load it up to go racing, because most people think we don't do that. And here we are, sticking her in the trailer. So that was successful, quick little change. We got it done in a week. I mean, hell. And we did
Let's be fair, there's a bunch of days we didn't even touch it.
Sorry, we did it in like a day.
Yeah.
Really. But say a week just because we didn't really do anything. But hey. Got my laptop in there. Got a Zeus tool in there. I'm gonna put the charger in there. We're gonna be ready to run some 6.0s tomorrow.
Heck yeah.